My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. Notice: intellectual property theft is particularly egregious and equally unlawful where the sole inventor and creator of the intellectual property is the targeted individual. Erica Lorraine Spencer, subject to the unconstitutional and inhumane government system of gang stalking, otherwise referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices, because of which the intellectual property created by the targeted individual, who is, in fact, Erica Lorraine Spencer, as the intellectual property also proves, serves to establish via evidence and expose the existence of criminal surveillance and thus an inherent threat posed by the U.S. government and the civilian population sharing engagement in the unlawful system. Such evidence that includes all of the content created by Erica Lorraine Spencer, images, videos, audio, etc., belongs solely and entirely to Erica Lorraine Spencer only and is necessarily published online in order to protect her life, safety, and liberty as the targeted individual, who is also the intellectual property owner, no less protected from theft procured through targeting by a public entity. Theft of any intellectual property belonging to Erica Lorraine Spencer, which is necessarily committed while she, being both creator and inventor, remains oppressed by the public entity via criminal surveillance, is a criminal and inhumane means of infringement under all circumstances and not protected nor enforceable pursuant to any invalid or fraudulent acts of copyright, trademarks, patents, etc., including as it pertains to any ideas associated with or generated from the intellectual property or the intellectual property owner, Erica Lorraine Spencer, whether creative, business, or otherwise, nor does the intellectual property owner consent to any such means of infringement and theft. Erica Lorraine Spencer here. The following is an audio version of video evidence that is captured for purposes of mass distribution, which is why I am capturing it and sharing it on the podcast for evidentiary purposes and also to reveal the wealth of documentation that extends beyond what it is that I document on podcasts. Much of the video and images will be published onto the YouTube channel, the P.O.C, and it is also shared on the Google Drive. Again, this is for purposes of revealing what I remain subject to, which is federal group stalking and monitoring. It is a demonic system of state surveillance that the government is practicing in concert with the people of the state, and it should be known and well understood that for the government to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring, this is a crime that is committed with a criminal purpose to threaten the life of an American citizen. This is to conspire to murder and or permanently kidnap an American citizen while engaging in a perpetual sex offense in concert with the people of the state. ANDK091. And here is the light source. What I want to document is the malicious engagement in the pattern of conduct. This is the same entity. I just want to be clear, as they pull up with the light activity under the fake sun, while the people of the state are pacing. This is mentally ill and criminal behavior by the demon-possessed in furtherance of murder. And you have those that engage with the P.O.C, with the entity that is the gang stalking police. That oxymoron is going to be dealt with a federal prison, that are acting with those who are potentially immigrants. So you'll have the entity engaging in the pattern of conduct amongst the demon-possessed that don't speak English. They engage in, oh, I don't understand what you're stating when you're speaking to, but you're dealing with a demon that is engaging in the pattern of conduct that is instinctual with regard to what is shared dysfunction, that instability that is psychopathic. And you have the entity that is the Viet American publishing right here, stalking in the path with the stalking on the side of the road, and the guise is in the physical, stopping on the side to unload, hazard lights, light activity, fake sun, pacing, and the entity is hovering by the Ontario International Airport. And these are the demons that are engaged in that P.O.C. The facilitating venues, right, which I've already documented, the talking with the Ontario Police Department, the Ontario International Airport, the Ontario Fire Department, the entity engaging in that P.O.C. with all of the people of the state, engaging in what is the psychopathic molestation with impossible light, the entity committing what is a battery today as well. Remember, the entity is not checking on you to find out if you're okay in the specific environment. They're monitoring you. This is the guise under which the entity engages in physical harm. All of that malice, because this is known, that's malice, and the entity is going to be prosecuted for these things. And it's also relevant to diagnosing them. You're stating this, you're representing this, and this is actually what you're doing, and the federal courts know that. The federal government is aware of that, and you're going to be prosecuted for that. This is the malice with which the entity is targeting. I just want to be clear, these Viet American, and that's an oxymoron because you're not an American engaging in gang stalking, but these Vietnamese third parties are engaging in the P.O.C. as they pull up. The Ontario International Airport hovers over, they're stalking together. And if they're not American citizens, they're going to be deported. And they're serially stalking. I want to document that. That's why I captured this video. And they're also engaging in what is battery. License 9 U.S.S. 791, engaging what is battery on behalf of the entity. And doing so, you see the Ontario Police crossing path. They're sharing in what is battery, committed as an entity. They're doing so under the fake sun. This is ritualistic. It's criminal monitoring. It's while the entity is engaging in that P.O.C. and they're doing so at 8:28 a.m. This is the entity that has the fake sun, as I'm documenting, for example, yesterday after 9 a.m. And you are aware I'm capturing very damning evidence. The fake sun is over me on this same location. 12, 1, 2, 3 into the evening. This is the entity that is engaging with its battery while they are monitoring me. And the demon-possessed are psychotic. They seek attention from me, even as it is detrimental to them. It's no ordinary attention that you're getting from me, the federal prosecutor, the one that is literally serving to have you diagnosed for the mental illnesses that you cannot hide because of your demon possession, which is clear to me, and I'm making it clear to everyone else. And you will be subject to what is a commitment while your behavior presents what is a threat to the public, and it is directly relevant to what is your pattern of conduct, which is not invisible either. It's all proven with tangible evidence, and you will find yourself diagnosed and convicted. All right, it is P.O.C. It's 8:28 a.m. at 537 North Euclid Avenue, where the people of the state are engaging in psychopathic pacing. I did document license plates, and I'm going to combine this together. The Vietnamese, getting into that because this is relevant to immigrants that are engaging in the pattern of conduct with the government. Do not be deceived by those that are targeting. You're dealing with Satan that doesn't have a language barrier. Okay? Satan wants you to focus on the physical. They know exactly what they're doing while the government is still engaging in the P.O.C. under the fake sun in engineered light, with the government stalking you by police, fire, and ambulance, helicopter, and planes, and they're feigning to not be able to understand what it is that you're talking about. You're going to prison all the same, by the way. All right? It is P.O.C. and it's currently 8:29 a.m. Do you know this white woman? License plate 7 Bob 0 Robert 182, because she's a co-conspirator of murder. She's a psychopath. She's a demon-possessed person. That means she is a threat to herself. She's a threat to any children she has access to. And she is a threat to American society. She's engaging in the malicious pattern of conduct, just like any, by the way, non-English speaking third party. This is psychopathic pacing with whom she is gang stalking. And she's also engaging in that with the government as she simultaneously pulls up next to me and is engaged in activity creation intentionally, knowingly, pursuant to her demon possession, which is not a secret, while she is conspiring the murder of another woman, and she does so maliciously and then goes on with the rest of her day. This is the entity doing so with minor children with whom this third party is monitoring. That's a federal offense. That's federal prison, by the way. She's engaging in what is facilitation, aiding thousands of people at the same time in the conspiracy to murder me. She's a psychopath pacing to and from her vehicle just so that the government can amplify plane activity while she engages in and inflicts psychological torture. Do you know this white woman? Because she's a threat. She's an enemy to this country. And so are all of her co-defendants who are gang stalking with her right now. This is the city of Ontario engaging in what is domestic terrorism. This is the third parties who are vagina monitors. This is the third party who are engaging in sexual violence, stalking in restrooms. These are third parties who are also hostile, while the fact that they are sex offenders and predators, and it's being put all over the internet because she's a psychopath. And she represents an entity. Because you need to beware. It's 537 North Euclid Avenue. It's 8:43 a.m. This is P.O.C. Stalking with kids. No targeting. Conspicuous surveillance. She's a psychopath. She's engaging in conspicuous surveillance. 9 U.S.C. 791, same thing. This is ongoing psychopathic pacing. They're engaging in surveillance with the state, keeping me under surveillance, gang stalking, and furtherance of murder. All they're missing is Ontario Police Department logos on their vehicle. This is vicarious state action. There's the demon that's stalking with a method of light activity. And they do so. The guys owe us parking. You can park here. You cannot engage in conspicuous stalking. They're not free to fly wherever they want to engage in surveillance. The government's not free to engage in surveillance with the people of the state. They're doing so with minor children, and this is the fake sin. These are psychopaths. Do you know this white woman? Because she's into having other people and aiding and murdering them. And she does it with the population. Illegally parking on purpose with regard to monitoring. There's nothing, you're not doing anything other than gang stalking, stopping at the bus stop. No traffic is impeding. Understand what he's doing. He's gang stalking. And so is she. And so is he. This is prolonged surveillance. Let's get their co-defendant's license plate. License 9HAJ494, not a stranger. Hostile because his co-defendants are being documented. This is the psychopath, the co-conspirator of murder. Oh, this isn't a white woman. This is an Asian descent. Pay attention. Do you know her? Because she's a co-conspirator of murder. Putting arsenic in your food, poisoning you, aiding and taking your life, and then going to bring you flowers at the hospital. That's the demon-possessed that are gang stalking. Psychopaths. Stalking with the government. This is prison. All right, that's the P.O.C. This is where the entity is engaging what is a battery this morning. This demon stalking in the path while I'm subject to a battery. They're all monitoring to it. And the entity is engaging in that as though they have the right to not only gang stalk me, you're going to tell me when to wake up, you're going to tell me when to move while you're engaging in criminal monitoring. This is a vagina monitor, and so is his co-defendant, and so are the demons stopping illegally at the bus stop. You know why? Because they know what I'm saying and what it is that I'm doing, and they're hostile. You can be as hostile as you want. You're going to be hostile in prison. This is a psychopath. Conspicuous surveillance, P.O.C. Doing so with the Viet American people of the state, monitoring with the Ontario International Airport. Viet American Weekly, they're going to find themselves deported. They're as un-American as those that are born here and from this so-called country. You're not American. You need to understand what that term means. It is the most unpatriotic, most un-American conduct of an enemy to engage in criminal surveillance and targeting American citizens. This demon, there's nothing wrong with his car. There's something wrong with his mind. 9 U.S.S. 791, P.O.C, Chevron, ARCO, Starbucks, all the same venue. The city of Ontario is keeping me under surveillance by these demons at the bus stop. It is currently 9:02 a.m. You know how you know that? Because of the environment. They don't have to say a word. You will be prosecuted for what is conspicuous stalking. That's a threat to the lives of American citizens who think that they can do that. You don't have any evidence. You can't prove it. You're going to be fear-mongered with what is criminal defamation, kidnapping, while they engage in the conspiracy to murder you conspicuously. You're going to prison. That is absurd. That's Omnitrans that knows that I'm not getting on the bus. P.O.C. Flight activity. P.O.C. It's 9:03 a.m. That's how you know that they know I'm not getting on the bus. They're monitoring. P.O.C. License plate 1399983. feel better.
Summary is not there. So the only one that says validated is
Those work very well, actually. Psychopathic pacing by the demons who are in administration. Good morning. Criminal surveillance, conspicuous surveillance. This is the environment where the entity maintains the fake sun from the front to the back to any side from sunrise until sunset. And I'm capturing this morning the fake sun, the subdued fake sun, equally a fake sun, and the same exact pattern of conduct. And the fake sun that is subdued is relevant to an admission of surveillance of the documentation exposing a supernatural environment. That knowledge about the evidence and the probative value of that fake sun documentation is relevant to the entity's ongoing targeting methods. Again, going to a different city and the entity engaging what is that documentation of maintaining a subdued fake sun. And it's highly unintelligent because a fake sun remains a fake sun no matter what shade, amber, bright yellow, gray. And they're engaging in the same pattern of conduct. They're doing so in the engineer light. So, for example, inside of the parking garage, surveillance, stalking in the path. And this is what everybody is doing. Pacing in and out of the doors, pacing across the walkway, maintaining surveillance at the computers, and you're looking at multiple shadows. That's mental illness coming out of the conference room, surveillance with the City of Ontario. Communication devices in tow. This is impossible light activity. These are demons. 1, 2, 3 shadows. One to the right, one rising in front of me. To the right, rising in front of me. In front of me, rising again. This is what they're all pacing in. This is the inside version of stalking under a fake sun, of molesting with engineer light, which isn't your headlights. This is the demons that are engaged in vagina monitoring. P.O.C. This is conspicuous surveillance, and this is pacing. You see the bodies going in and out. That's Sarah LeBlanc. She's going to be federally prosecuted. She's a psychopath pacing in and out of doorways, as are all of the employees. Severely mentally ill. This is P.O.C. You can see how my shadow travels in front of me and moves up on the wall. This is the entity that stalks, follows into the bathroom, and they engage in more of that sexual violence, which is shared by Alexander Gregg. It's shared by Gregory. It's shared by Abby, her full name is Abigail. It's shared by Vanessa. It's shared by Kelly Blacken. It's shared by the City of Ontario that are stalking in the path outside of the entrance doors while O Park It's engaging in the exploitation and abuse of its clients who are engaging in light activity, relevant positioning, audible activity. They're gang stalking. They're doing so while OPARC is also engaging in criminal monitoring and furtherance of murder and bringing the developmentally challenged to engage in the sex act of gang stalking and also sharing in the sex act of monitoring in the bathroom. You have surveillance outside of the bathroom. You have the entity engaging in surveillance coming inside of the bathroom, and the proof of that is not only the fake sun that's over the building, and as you know, remains, as I documented, after 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon yesterday. And don't forget about the day before yesterday where it's remaining over Montclair Starbucks. That's relevant to the vagina monitoring that's ongoing, and OPARC shares in that. The City of Ontario is invested in, at the Ontario International Airport. All of it is gang violence that the Ontario Police Department are engaging in. This is the P.O.C. All right, the P.O.C. is a pattern of conduct regarding what is an obsession of a mentally ill population. Do not be deceived by the superficial distinction that the demon-possessed make amongst those such as the developmentally challenged, who are equally engaging in demonic behaviors, by the way, monitoring in the same exact specific environment, while the demon-possessed, psychopathic, with regard to their mental illness, engaging in the same pattern of conduct, criminal monitoring. It is currently 11:08 a.m. I just want to show you the environment where you are monitoring inside and out. That's Natasha, engaged in monitoring my vagina, engaged in kidnapping in June of 2022. She's engaged in surveillance in the bathrooms, relevant positioning in the male restroom and the women's restroom. OVITT Family Community Library is a sex offender for the sexual or violence purposes of the people of the state, just maintaining surveillance outside of the restroom in engineered light. It's P.O.C. And that's a predator that follows inside of a bathroom, where everything is underway and the entity maintains amplified noise, engineered light, which you see, and presence in the path. The predator that is stalking in bathroom stalls, outside of the restroom, stalking with planes and helicopters. This is P.O.C. It's 11:09 a.m., 215 E.C. Street, where OVITT Family Community Library is engaged in vagina monitoring, which is exactly what you're seeing all over the internet. Monitoring what's going on in a restroom. P.O.C. Look at the shadows. In front and back, in front and back. And this is the second plane, monitoring minor children, monitoring with the demon-possessed people of the state. These are the co-conspirators of murder. They are going to prison. Very plain. They're going to prison. Okay? This is the same Securitas employee monitoring of minor children, and this is pacing in and out. See the shadows on the wall, and then the shadows you see that they have on the ground behind in front of them. Okay? The gang stalkers are coming in and out, and they're all sharing in vagina monitoring. And they are engaging in what is demonic behavior. So the demons in the planes are in sync with the demons in the vehicles as the demons are pacing out in engineered light out of the building, where they've been engaging in psychopathic pacing and stalking with light. The demon possessed that are engaging in very serious and violent criminal surveillance, which is also sexually motivated. The Ontario International Airport, the Ontario Board, the Ontario Executive Team engaging in what is vagina monitoring, surveillance in a private space where they're tracking my steps. You know that by the maintenance of the fake sun that's here from sunrise till sunset, where that airport is stalking me, keeping me under surveillance and furtherance of murder for money. And they've also sharing in every kidnapping, in every criminal act of criminal summoning, and all the sexual molestations by the stalkers who are the people of the state. Millions of people that are together conspiring murder while they're engaging in surveillance. And this is the OVITT Family Community Library who are going to prison for kidnapping. That's a sex act right there. License plate. Sarah's Regis Group is gang stalking as well. 7GCY525, driving in the engineer light, or they're walking in the engineer light. And here's one shadow. And here's the other where the little underage minion is monitoring. Okay, she's engaging in positioning inside where the entity is amplifying plane activity, which is why I'm able to walk outside and get that plane activity where she is acting in sync with the government. All right, and she is a demon. This is an entity that does not have an age with regard to criminal surveillance. This is terrorism, and this is the prosecution of it. The Ontario International Airport is being shut down as a terrorist and is engaging in what is conspicuous terrorism, open, outright terrorism of an American citizen. Doing so, you'll see the timestamp of the demon in the plane doing a cartwheel. As I upload that, immediately, seconds later, another plane over the senior citizen complex. That's engineer light, not their headlights. Demons. Sarah's Regis Group, I'm gonna prosecute them. They're all engaged in vagina monitoring as I exit the library. That's what I documented last night. That's what I documented before. And this is impunity of the mentally ill. This is what they're doing inside of the library. and they're going to be crying in federal court. Their demon-possessed kids are getting prosecuted. They're being deported out of the country, and they're going to federal prison. 9E TE761, that was pacing out of the garage, around the circle, and back and forth. 8LBE59L, I believe. P.O.C. and they're sex offenders. And this is criminal conduct of the Ontario Police, the Ontario International Airport, the City of Ontario, Paul Leon. This is in furtherance of murder. It's criminal monitoring by the demon-possessed. P.O.C. 9UQU795, and they're all engaged in surveillance while the airport is providing what is the ongoing means of surveillance above me. They're all engaging in monitoring on communication devices together while I'm surrounded by a bunch of minors engaging in monitoring my vagina in concert with the government as well. All of the employees, Alex, Alexander, Greg, Gregory, you have the Talia, Erica, there's another Erica in there, not me. I'm Erica Spencer. But the entity, Allied Universal, go ahead. They're vagina monitors. They're co-conspirators of murder. There's demons stalking with impossible light, sharing in the sexual assault and battery. They're engaging in that with the government. It's 9:03 p.m. upon my exit. The ongoing documentation showing the OVITT Family Community Library is engaged in state surveillance. This is P.O.C. This is the security employee that's stalking with the Ontario Police Department, and she's P.O.C. with ongoing impunity with the City of Ontario. That's the P.O.C. while she's stalking with light. She's mentally ill, and the entity flies over my head, terrorizing me at this venue in the back parking lot. I documented that in October of 2025. That is federal prison. She is still engaged in that P.O.C., as is Securitas. Every gang stalking Securitas employee is shared in that pattern of conduct. They're all sex offenders monitoring. P.O.C. It is currently 9:04 p.m. Pizza Hut's engaging in sexual assault and battery. Nevada plate 9580C0 6NGW189, driving a white Toyota Camry, is accelerating. This is speaking to consciousness, knowledge, surveillance, demons. But that's already proven through the evidence and proven through the environment. This is Pizza Hut themselves engaging in what is sexual assault and battery. Just like I captured the other employee while she is simultaneously exiting as they provide my food, the Ontario International Airport is crossing path. The entity has the fake sun over me at the at this Pizza Hut at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The entity is filling it with engineer light while the fake sun is over me randomly. I never come over here. The entity keeps it over the OVITT Family Community Library. And the other day I kept it over the Montclair Starbucks at 4490 Holt. The entity engaging in what is stalking by the entity molesting with engineer light while they come in picking up pizza. This is the federal RICO case. And Pizza Hut is sharing in that ongoing threat. This is an entity that's engaged in preparation of food, and you will be going to federal prison tampering with my food. They're already engaged in the criminal conspiracy to commit murder. So Pizza Hut is fully engaged in that pattern of conduct with the intent to commit murder. It's P.O.C., especially while your employees are gang stalking me. 715 North Euclid Avenue. This is sexual assault and battery upon exit. A population that shares the pattern of conduct of sexual violence. Pulling out the bag is relevant to the federal RICO case. I have this third party's license plate. They're engaging in gang violence with Pizza Hut, Uber drivers, the population that comes and purchases from Pizza Hut. This is P.O.C. It's sexual assault and battery. And they are all monitoring while that pattern of conduct is underway. This is all state action. I just want to be clear, this is the human rights violations by every business in the state of California that's engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring, which again, this is a never before contemplated basis for civil damages upon prosecuting the government for conspiring or murder with corrupt companies like Pizza Hut. This is P.O.C. Where you are being gang stalked as you order pizza, your genitalia is under surveillance. In any and every bathroom, including at OVITT Family Community Library. Engage in surveillance in the vehicle. P.O.C. This is activity creation, not coincidental arrival at their vehicle. They're stalking. They're stalking. This is P.O.C.